So, hi guys, welcome to another podcast episode. So, this is Chatting While Striking podcast and episode 2. So, as usual, I'm Coach Charlie and this is Coach Neo. And we are now at episode 2. It's been like a bit like 2 weeks after the episode 1, I guess so. Yeah. So today I'm thinking like the main topics we're going to talk about, like I'm more inclined to talk about like how we started, like not say our bowling career lah, but it's more like how we started learning about bowling. I think in the previous episode we talked about how when we start bowling, right, which was when we were kids and all that. But it's like we that bowling really starts when you like and get some formal training, or when you learn how to like throw a specific technique. Then when you get start to like score higher, to me that's when like the actual fun of bowling really starts up. So I want to talk about like maybe when you start learning like the techniques in bowling and all that. Then your experiences like in the various maybe the youth teams. Do you represent school? Do you represent Singapore? Do you represent whichever? And what was your experience in that kind of team environment and stuff like that? Okay,
Yeah.
like you want to go first? Like, do you have any
Sure.
like former coaching, like from a coach, or is it from a school team, or is it you self learn, self
For
taught?
myself, I started out, I think, as like what everyone did, with a polyester house ball, just anyhow throwing down the lanes. But I think about 25 years back, that was a time when spinner was the UFO, spinner helicopter style. That is the one that is trending. So from there, I saw some of the seniors throwing that, and it just caught my attention. And then,
But
the way they release.
okay, when you mention
Yeah,
seniors, you talk about seniors also last time when we were bowling. What do you mean by
yeah.
seniors? Your school
The
seniors?
seniors, in the community, the adults, those
Oh, so senior bowlers
real
like
adults.
like
Yeah,
older bowlers, uncle bowlers, like that lah.
yeah, the uncles.
Or maybe
So the
just
way that
people
they
who are
feel, yeah,
adult bowlers, or like youth bowlers but older than us. Because back then you were like
yeah,
secondary school or maybe
yeah,
like poly, right? Yeah.
yeah. So those of them now should be easily 60 to 80 years old.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
like maybe
yeah,
yeah lah. So about 30, 40 years
yeah,
you're senior lah back then. Yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
those days, that was when spinner was so very popular, and then so you see the way they release the ball down, it's spinning, but then it's going straight down to the onto the target, and when it hits the pins, that flush pocket, that explosion is so beautiful. So back then that caught my attention, and then I started it with spinner house balls actually. So then it went into like all the other balls that we mentioned in the first episode. Then from there, so no one was coaching me. Then like all the way down until I jumped into poly. That is the time when I got my first inner ball. And my school, those days, we were in a transition of coaches. So I had I think SK Young or SK Tan.
School as in your poly.
SK. Yeah, when I was in MIP.
Oh, you were in
Yeah,
NYP is
Nanyang
Nanyang
Poly.
Poly? Okay.
Yeah. So from there, then we switched up into to Coach Michael Lim.
No, I'm not familiar with either of them.
Michael Wong, sorry. Michael Wong.
Michael Wong, the
Yeah.
ex Maristella
The,
coach.
yeah, the
Yeah,
very tall coach.
yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
So
Yeah. Mm.
those days, like, many other people, they didn't really want to teach me because I have sweaty palms, I have a lot of all those other issues, and then they just don't want to take a bowler that had so many issues. But so I'm pretty thankful to Michael, even though he's not a spinner bowler, he's a hook, but then he gave me really good guidance, and definitely my seniors in school, my poly seniors, they gave me some guidance, and that's how my spinner career started. Yeah. Then from there we like those then I took on the coaching course after military, serving the NS. Then I sort of became my first student as a L1 coach back then. So I had quite a bit of coffee sessions with all the senpais, the senior coaches in the industry, and then they were talking, like sharing with me a lot of ideas how I should tackle myself as a bowler. coaching myself. It's so interesting. Then from then, like it was like a period where I have to wear the metal guard, where everyone was so mesmerized by it. Like, wow,
So
you
that
pro
time
with
you were
metal
learning how
guard.
to hook the ball already. That means
Yeah.
after your level one coaching, you
When
got
I
a
took
level one
my level
cert.
one, that was the
Ah,
very moment I
so
decided that I
you
must be my
decided
first student.
to convert lah from spinner to hook
Yeah,
bowler.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
But
So
I
you,
still went around with a hook ball and a spinner ball
okay. So in
because when
between
hook
lah,
wasn't working for me.
then you
Yeah,
throw
in
spinner.
between.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah.
Then the
So
spares you
yeah,
throw
it's
spinner
really
also.
interesting. Yeah. When I throw spinner, it'll be spinner until the game don't work for me. Then I jump back into hook
Like
or vice versa.
do you throw hook shot for strike and then spinner for spare?
I tried that.
Ah,
It screws up the game big time.
okay. The timing
Mess
very
it up
different now. Mm.
because a 15 pound and a 11, 12 pound ball that makes a huge difference.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, I have quite a bit of. I'm pretty lucky to get a lot of senior coaches that was guiding me, giving me advice. But in terms of real coaches that was really coaching me in school training, I think that was only Michael Wong, one person. Yeah. So from there, yeah. So I'm not super like I wasn't jumping around many coaches. Didn't get too much luck in that area. Not from a rich family, so I couldn't go for academy trainings. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Mm.
then as we grew on into a full grown adult, like then I started to coach other people, and wow, it's different, but it's fun. It's fun. What about you?
Oh yeah, I mean I started as a spinner also. So my experience also, you mentioned because we both stay in Ang Mo Kio when we were young. So our
Yeah,
so-called bowling hunting ground is the Ang Mo Kio AMK Strikers, which for any
yeah.
of you guys in Singapore will be like if you have ever been to Ang Mo Kio, there's this Ang Mo Kio shopping mall, and then
Yeah,
if
with
you
a big
exit,
tomato downstairs.
yeah, if you exit the so-called the back door of Ang Mo Kio Hub, which is into the more populated area, it will be facing a McDonald's.
McDonald's.
So that building with the McDonald's in the past, in our when Ang Mo Kio Strikers was there, I believe it was level 3, if I'm not wrong. I think it's
Level
level
three.
3. Level 2 used to be like a land cafe.
Level. Oh yeah,
There were many businesses that come in and out, but I think at one
land
time there was a
cafe,
land
and then I
cafe,
think the
there was
top
a
floor
manga
was
cafe,
yeah.
there was a Darts. Darts was like more recent, but I think it was land cafe when it was or maybe before, maybe after Ang Mo Kio Strikers. But anyway, I mean AMK Strikers Bowl was in the third level, so my experience there was that I went to bowl secondary school because I studied in Ang Mo Kio Secondary School, which was right opposite your home. Yeah. Then like sometimes casual as usual students you see now students like for you just gather like a bunch of hey, let's go bowling lah for after school, right? Things like that.
Yeah.
So there were, a few of my friends were more into it, like especially I think one of the like secondary school classmate already at like sec 2 he already had his own personal white dot and he already like went to learn the spinner technique. So it's obviously a lot better than the rest of us. Then when we go and bowl, right, he will trash us. But I get to see his technique, right, which was, I mean, I forgot, but he was able to spin the ball. So his white dot like, wow, spin, very nice. Then as you mentioned, wow, hit the pocket, wow, strike. Then the rest of us like throw simple straight ball, then wow, cannot even hit the pin, go gutter, all that. Then like, wow,
Yeah.
looks cool, eh. Then obviously as we were bowling there, as you mentioned, there were also some of the people who are regularly training there. I remember there was like one of the coaches who always coach the spinners there in Ang Mo Kio Striker. I forgot, was it a guy or a lady? I think it was an older man, right? If I'm not wrong. I think he was coaching other younger, so-called, not say adults, but young, older than us secondary school kids, right? Maybe like teenagers or like maybe 18 years old or something. Poly students or what. They were taller than us, but still guys. Then they were also learning the spinning technique. So those guys were the ones that are actually good. Much better than my friend, so to say, because their scores and their technique also that they were under coaching. Then they would put the sticker, right? I think two
Mm.
stickers. Sometimes they put three stickers. Then they will spin their ball. So obviously back then the popular balls were the white dots, but white dot is polyester, so the more serious spinners will go into like reactive, well, probably like the Wolf series or the other balls, and they put it's one single color, so they put the sticker. Then you see the sticker like become like one line, which like
Yeah.
indicates how fast their ball is spinning, and then hit the pocket, and then everything strikes. Wow, so cool. So that was when I decided, oh, I want to learn this when like next time if I get into a school with a bowling club, I want to join bowling club, and then I want to learn because Ang Mo Kio Secondary School was a neighborhood school. Obviously, we didn't have the budget to have a bowling CCA. So move on. I went into Nanyang JC actually. So Nanyang JC was still in the area. Then they had a bowling club. So I was like, wow, nice, sweet. So because actually most JCs at that era, during my era, most JCs had a bowling club. So I was like quite. I don't know whether they asked about it when in secondary school or something. But anyway, then I went Nanyang JC. I like, oh, I've got bowling. Then I immediately joined bowling since whenever we were able to join CCAs. I think after orientation or something like that. Then join. Then back then our coach, actually all the way my school coach was Adam Chew all the way. Just happened to be that way. So it was Adam Chew who was a spinner himself. Who was I think according to him he represented the national team at some point. I don't know for how many years, but it was a spinner. He had a. I saw he bowl. He actually did do his spinner technique a few times in front of us, and he had a lot of follow through one. He had very little backswing, like he barely even backswing the ball, but he had a lot of like exaggerated follow through. Like he flipped the ball a lot. He actually his technique is all like a bit of backswing and then flip. Then all his ball speed, his power, everything come from that flip. So I was like, whoa, but then I mean that was a little bit sidetracked. But anyway, so in I remember in NYJC, Nanyang JC we had like maybe 50-50. About half of us were learning spinners, the guys lah, the girls I think all is either straight ball or hook ball. And then half of the other guys were learning hook ball. We had some, I think among the spinners, my so-called my school seniors, which is one and I think two. Did I have some? Okay, 1 year my senior, I think Vincent Lim, but not the current coach Vincent Lim. It's very slim guy Vincent, also called Vincent Lim. So he was one of the quite a very good spinner. So it was really good. So I always admire and I watch his style. Everything, his fundamentals were solid, always on balance and quite smooth. Then he had the quick. His release was also very quick. So when he turned his wrist, you can literally see the explosion of his wrist at the foul line, and then the ball spin fast, then hit, strike. So he's like the guy the senior that I aspire to be like. And I remember also during my JC times, there was another senior who was already graduated, so he really like going to NS, but he always come back. He come back a few times when he's able to like sort of like guide us. So he's quite close to the other senior Vincent Lim, but he's like 1 year older. Then he's also a spinner as well. Then then he guided us. So didn't give us much tips. Actually, thinking back, Adam's coaching style also very. I mean, he gave us some tips, but he didn't give like very specific tips for spinners. Like he would just teach general that we will do a lot of drills. So it's like one step. Back then there was 1 step, 2 step, and I think there was 3 and 4. 3 step and then 4 step was the full approach already. So back then you can do
5.
Yeah,
when I learned I was 5.
Yeah, you can do 4 step or you can do 5 step. So it's up to you. So it's optional. But the 5 step he just teach like it's just adding 1 extra step in front of 4 step. So he just teach 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and 4 step. So mostly we were doing drills, a lot of drills, and then spare system. So he teach drills and spare system. He didn't teach like the specifics about the spinner release and all that. So back then, the issue I had with my spinner release, which I didn't realize, was that I didn't have carry. So because I didn't feel it in my fingers and I didn't feel it in my thumb. Literally, I just like spin and then I had no blisters when the ball just come out. So I was like one of those few bowlers, like I look at my friends, they got like thumb blister, all that, right? Then I was like, how come you get blister one? I never get blister later. I asked them. So actually, I didn't know that there was a mistake. There was actually a mistake. So Coach Adam back then wasn't so detailed. Like if you are not like the first team, he wouldn't go into the specifics because they will select. They have selection, right? Go by score.
Yeah.
So like the people who score well enough then will select it into both like team A, team B, and then you represent. I think I eventually got into like team B in my second year of JC, but he doesn't teach into the specifics. So I was because my fundamentals were super good because every time I go like practice myself at Plaza Ball and so on, I would like do drills. I was like a firm believer of like, yes, drills are good because drills will help me improve my fundamentals. So I do drill, then like I can do like 3-4 games of drills and then I go into my Then the next 5-6 games out of my 10 game block, then I will do like proper 4-step. For me back then was 4-step. Yeah. Then yeah lor. So my sparring was like super good. Like I can I remember back then, right? I no need to look at the spare one. Like pin ten or just casually take the ball, just doo, doo. Then I turn around, then my friends will be like, "Yeah, spare." Then I'll like, nothing. I'll be like, "Okay, next shot." Then I'll be like getting ready for next shot. Like sparring 是不用看的 literally, my sparring was so good that 不用看. So I think that was what stabilized my score. But my carry was very bad. So my strike rate was very bad. But my sparring was, now that I think about it, my sparring was phenomenal. So that was my JC. Then moving on, then I went to national service. So national service I didn't bowl at all because bolui lah, no money, then no kaki also. So yeah, no bowling friends in my army side. In my army side, they were more like playing. They had gatherings sometimes to play soccer, sometimes play a bit of basketball during like nights out, or like when we had to stay in. We were like stay out. We were like nights out, but have to stay in that kind. So sometimes we just gather, play some of those casual sports. Then moving on to when I got into uni, which was NTU, then same thing. I entered into the so-called bowling CCA lah, but they had uni is a lot more competitive. They had selection, to get into a training squad, so to say. Then from the training squad, will train I think for like half a year or something. Then there will be a selection for the actual inter-varsity team, the IVP, inter-varsity team. Then you get certain benefits, like if you are IVP player, you get a free hostel, not say free hostel room lah, but you get a free priority to get a hostel for next year because you represent the school, you are a school player. So if not, right, we need to earn CCA points, we need to earn hostel points by doing a lot of hostel activities. So I need to like earn like 50 points or 80 points or something like through hostel activities, in order and school activities in order to like earn a right to bid for a room. But if you are IVP, no need. So there was one of the welfare IVP, and then you get to wear the school jacket, which was something status symbol, pride, because you have to be the best in the school, which is a university is quite big, like in order to be able to wear that jersey and so on. So I remember then also just happened to be that before I got in, I think they used to be under Mervyn Fu. And then the year that I got in, they changed Mervyn Fu to Adam Chew. So again, Adam Chew coach for NTU. But same.
But he's doing good now, you know.
Hmm?
He's doing good right now in Thailand.
He's
in
bowling.
The Singha Thailand Open.
Adam Chew bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I mean, he's bowling hook bowler, ma. Yeah.
He's the leader of the table for the
for
seniors.
For seniors, yeah.
Seniors.
I think he converted to hook very very long ago. But anyway,
he's doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah, I mean he's a nice guy, very easy to talk to. I got nothing against him. Just that his coaching style is more laid back. So same thing in NTU. Like his coaching style in NYJC, right, was about the same. That means he's more hands off. He will just ask us to do drills, and basically doesn't really go much into the detail unless you are like the first or second team. But now thinking back about it, even for the hook bowler, I don't think he can give like truly constructive advice, because I think back then he like wasn't, maybe he hasn't even converted yet, or maybe he was like early in the stage of converting to a hook bowler. So back then the so-called in the NTU team, the people who made the first team were mostly the hook bowlers. We had one very strong spinner, was Chiu Rushin. If you know of him, Chiu Rushin was a bit of a bing one. He loved to bowl at Silver Bowl last time, which was Tanjong Katong Shopping Centre, I believe. Then that time Silver Bowl was like Planet Bowl. You had alleys on both sides facing each other. So his haunting ground, his training ground is Silver Bowl. He bowl like literally every day. Almost every day when he bowl, then he'll like to be those that play bookie, pin five, and then bet pool and all that. So every day he bowl, because then he's quite good. So he like as a spinner he averages like 190, sometimes 210 if he can carry, which was like a very good score for a spinner. High ball speed, high ref rate. Then he got
a lot
of
if you think about it, back in the days, because balls was not as advanced as now. So those days, like 190 is actually a very good score. And then, but nowadays, to hit 190 as an adult or a poly uni stool bowler, 190 is average. It's just a
Not
normal open
not
score.
really leh, because when I was in uni that time, I already in my
Mm.
20s, about 20
Yeah,
unis was 20 2021, as in
yeah,
the year that time was 2020, late 2000, it was early or mid 2000s, because even in my JC time, right, the Inferno series came out already. It was what
yeah,
we talked about in the first podcast, which was like the insane carry balls. So that was a bit like
yeah.
back in JC. Then the that time bowling ball for hoop ball technology is already quite advanced. And that was when the strong carry balls were coming in. Right? So
Yeah.
that means,
People that got the Fire, the Inferno series, they
yeah.
will dominate.
So
But like
imagine,
if you compare those balls to now, it will be different.
yeah, of course. But it's like, even back then, right, with the Infernos, people were hitting like 200s and beyond 200s. Because I remember
Yeah.
as a JC kid, right, I entered because back then I usually train at Plaza Bowl. So Plaza Bowl had their selection, right? Selection for to represent Plaza for like youth tournaments and all that. So I entered. Then in order to win the selection, you had to be like, even the among the youth level, right? I think 6 or 8 game average, you have to average above like 190 to 200. That was just the youth level. So you were like at the adult level is easily you must average above 210, 220 in order to win the selection. So back then
Yeah.
that kind of scores was really like considered normal lah, in order to be like a
This
competitive
this
bowler.
just a couple months back when I tried for the Plaza Bowls, the qualifiers, to represent for Plaza Bowl, we had to bowl 230 plus average.
Ooh,
So
that's very high
you
scoring
just
oiling.
yeah.
Yeah, the oiling was
So
very high
things
scoring
have
then.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that,
It's the same masters that oiling, just that yep, it's different. So you really have to bowl very, very well
yeah, it will score
to
higher.
qualify now.
Still,
Yeah.
still that time, I think like, yeah, 200, 210. I mean, yeah, lah, for the spinner, 190 and 200 is very good. So he was like A team, B team material, but back then, like mostly, we only had like two spinners in the main team. Those are like the top
Mhm.
spinners. The rest are all hoop bowlers. Because the hoop bowlers at time, they usually average easily 190 to like 210, 220. Not say average 210, 220. 210 average is quite good, because they will hit like high scores and then they will hit like the low scores. So then even among the training squad, they were like hoop bowlers, like my peers, which is because I'm a spinner, then my peers were like hoop bowlers. My friends were also averaging higher than me. So they also get they will get into the team first and so on. So yeah, like, I struggled. So that was when I think that was when I talked to you about I trained a lot at Bukit Panjang Plaza, and my senior back then, my NTU senior back then was the one who actually taught me the finger and thumb spinning technique. So it was only until I entered uni that I actually learned about all these spinner techniques. And yeah, so it took me like good 1 2 years just to like learn that technique, because like in my first year I actually was still the same. I didn't have the carry, so it
Quick
took me
question. Do,
quite a
do
long time.
do you still have your spinner ball?
I gave it away, unfortunately. My first spinner ball I mentioned was the Storm Twist. It was a black color ball, but had a I mean, not the first spinner ball, the first reactive spinner ball with the like there was a orange green twist logo in the
Please.
middle. Then that ball was before the Storm, La Nina and El Nino series. So that was a ball I bought in, I think, JC. But it was not my first spinner ball, because my first spinner ball was the polyester ball, the zone plastic. Then I realized that the that plastic ball, I think it was like one year or something after I started in JC, I realized that the plastic ball cannot compete, because all my seniors had reactive spinner balls. Then I went to
Yeah.
buy the Storm, which was true lah. Once I got the Storm Twist right, I like left my polyester ball at home already, because
Yeah.
the
Nowadays people
carry
are
was
using Gem.
the carry was different, vastly different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I see
yeah,
people using Gem nowadays,
to
Gem,
spin
proton
to
physics.
spin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's crazy they're using the top of the line balls for spinner. And Wow.
But
It's
yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
yeah lah, yeah lah. I
It's
mean, it's
very
like
strong. It's very, very strong.
just
But
use it lor. Because like to be a spinner nowadays,
big
very
shoes to
few
fill.
very few. The only a lot of uncle spinners. Talking about uncle spinners, right? If I diverge, even like that day we were bowling league, then who's the spinner? Louis Niam, was it? There was a very
On our left side, right?
Andy Lai.
Andy Lai is
He used to
a
be
hook
the one of the
bowler.
top spinners.
Yes, but he is, yeah, converted.
Yeah, he converted. Even he, the so called
Mm,
the one of the top spinners in Singapore, finally converted to who. I was like, oh, that's Andy Lai.
yeah.
That was like my
He's in my
偶像.
team. He's in my
Yeah,
league team.
yeah, my 偶像
And
back
we
in when I
always
was
feel very nice.
learning. My 偶像 back in like even JC. I think even JC going to uni days, right? Andy Lai was already the dominant spinner back then.
Yeah.
Then back then he was married to the Singapore team spinner. Who's the I forgot what's his wife's name. Then they divorced. Also the national spinner. I forgot her name.
Geraldine,
The slim. I'm both of them are
slim
slim now.
tall one.
They were the taller one because they were like there was a shorter lady, a bit older one in the national team back then spinner, and then there was this other girl. So he was married to that lady. Then after that they divorced. So both of them were top spinners. So I was like, wow, even Andy Lai convert.
And Geraldine.
Oh, Geraldine, I don't know. I forgot her surname. Yeah,
Yeah.
Geraldine, maybe Geraldine
Yes.
something.
Ger-
You're googling as SBF roster.
I'm checking the
I
ancient
mean,
one.
yeah, I mean their names should be in the SBF website like, under the archive like ex national bowlers there.
Those are ancient years,
Yeah, that was in
decades ago.
early mid 2000 early 2000 something along those lines. So even yeah back then spinner was still acceptable lah as a competitive technique. Then it's like slowly died down. Actually, even back
Yes.
then, I think early 2000s Belmo was already bowling international tournaments because I remember in my uni days I overheard Coach Adam was talking about Belmo a bit. Like that was when Belmo was like a youth and he was bowling in the like Indonesian or like Philippine tournaments. He was dominating. Then he was talking about like this guy who is like having so much rev, two hands, unorthodox style.
Yes.
Then I think he was talking about Belmo. So even back then, when spinners were still around competitively, Belmo was really like competing and like starting to
So
dominate with two hands.
he was so Belmo himself. He has been bowling two-handed since young because he
Yeah,
couldn't
since
handle the
5 years
weight of
old.
the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his story is quite famous. Like, he share on his on
Yeah.
his YouTube
Which is
channel, all
actually
that.
it's actually pretty common in back in the days also. So I still remember when I was coaching doing my private coaching earlier days. We always get kids who can't hold a ball, and then those days they like the five-finger balls was not popular yet. So instead of putting all the three fingers in, we always got them to hold it with two hands, and then they walk. And
Oh,
so we will teach them to walk straight and throw this way. So they will repeat
oh,
the exact motion just with a thumb in the ball.
okay,
And so for a kid that was bowling like maybe usually when they hold it's about 6 pounder, we will get them to grab a eight
okay.
pound ball or a 9 pound ball so that the thumb is looser, and then they would have been doing that. So it is almost exactly like what
Mm,
Belmo did back in the days.
okay, I have to pause the recording because my Zoom timer is running out. So this is why I don't like Zoom. Give
Oh,
me a second. Yeah, I have to re-host it because I host there's a time limit because mine is
but
the
two
free
persons
version.
shouldn't have any time limit,
I
right?
mean the time limit pop up So yeah,
No, no, no. That I think that should be fine.
oh it's fine
I had that before, yeah, but it should be fine. But
Okay.
in case if it really cuts, then we
Yeah,
will
if
just
you I mean if it
explain.
cuts then I'll pause it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, that actually yeah, true, interesting. Because actually I have a girl right now that I'm coaching for primary school CHRJ. One hander, but like the way she starts her swing, right? I think maybe because of the
Mm,
weight or the size of the ball, she also
yes,
like swings it a bit like a two hander naturally. Like. But
yes.
I've been trying to think of ways to discourage her
Mm,
from it, but it's like the way she swings, she still holds on with the left hand. And
yes,
like you mentioned, it's very natural because when the kid is very small, they
yeah,
just don't have the confidence to let the ball swing like that. It's too heavy or too big for them. so they will have the offhand support it, and it becomes like a two-hander swing.
What I'm doing now during my academy training. I had a couple boys that came in as a one-hander, but they just can't handle the weight of the ball. Then after one tournament, we converted him into a two-hander. But now, so 1 month in, right now, he's back to one-hander. So he has the idea of how to hold the ball but now adding the thumb in, and he will swing this way. And he swings, so then he will go into a normal swing, but he will release the finishing, and it gives it a very, very nice release now.
Okay,
So
so
it's
he
actually
learned the release when he was throwing it two-handed, you mean?
yes.
Ah,
Yeah, it gives him the competitive edge though. So he's actually releasing the ball very nicely. The angle is good. Yeah. And it's
So,
quite pretty surprising because I thought he wouldn't be able to convert so fast back into one-handed. But it gave him the strength, and he was able to swing the ball. So instead of normal swinging, so before that he was swing like that
yeah,
because
they will have
he
10
has no
shoulders.
strength.
Yes, correct, no
Yes.
strength. Yeah,
So
they
now
use their
his
shoulder.
shoulder is down, and he's swinging. Yeah.
Okay, but so actually there are maybe some benefits that we can like cross train, so to say.
Yeah.
Cross training maybe like give them some benefits, because at the end of the day, I mean, whether they choose to stay as one-hander or two-hander is their choice. But
Yeah.
I also agree that actually exposing especially kids to both techniques is actually good.
Yeah.
So like, okay, how about this week or like this 1 month you try two-handed. I teach you two-handed techniques, you learn, and then a month later, I teach you one-handed techniques. Then you just try and learn. Then after a few months, 2-3 months down the road, then you choose which one you prefer.
Yeah.
Then they
Because there's
get
no hard and fast rule now. So.
yeah, I mean, but it's always good to expose. I mean, because if they never try, they never know, like you say, you don't try, you don't know.
Yeah.
So just let them try, and then they get the benefit of like learning how to hook a ball like a two-hander, but understanding like the difficulties are in ball speed. Getting ball speed as a two-hander is very difficult. Getting the consistency as a two-hander is difficult. Especially like want to throw a spare as a two-hander is almost impossible. Then like one-hander, okay, I can throw the ball straight, I can spare, I can faster ball speed. But how do I roll the ball? One-hander is difficult. Then learn it from two hands.
But I like I would beg to differ to a certain extent. So like right now that I can bowl two-hander to these not say decently, but at least I don't gutter the shot. When I can actually spare pin 10 easier with two hands, holding my spare ball.
I think it's your technique from one-hander that's helping you, because like one-handers, right?
I don't really
You
know.
learn how to stay behind the ball. But when I initially learned two-hand, right, because I was like spinner, directly convert to two hands, so I don't have the fundamentals of like a one-handed hook bowler. So I don't have the idea of like staying behind the ball, because spinner is just spinner, right? And then two-hander, I like learn. And initially, my first two-hand shot I throw is all backup, because I go like that. Then the hand will be this way. The hand goes straight, and then I'm like, how come my ball back up one? So I had to like tilt. I had to hold the ball like this. Literally, I hold the ball like 45 degrees
preset the
sideways,
angle.
preset the angle, and then I just lift. And I'm like, I hook. Then so that's how a lot of I'm seeing that in a lot of the so-called the self-learned two-handers. Like if you go to a bowling alley, you see two-handers that are self-taught. Yeah, most of them will do this because it's about, because they figure out themselves. It's like, how do I hook the ball? Then try and then like that lor. But I cannot. But like that, then I cannot turn in time, right? So what if I just hold the ball this way and I just swing the ball like that? It works. It hooks. Then okay lor. Then I bowl like this lor. So that's why for us who bowl two hands like this, trying to throw a spare shot is very difficult, because once we release the spare ball, it starts hooking already. It will start hooking. Then it's about getting the ball speed. Obviously, if that bowler can generate enough ball speed, still easier lah. Possible to spare pin 10 lah, but still difficult lah, because they don't know how to like go behind the ball.
It still boils down to training though, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the more you practice, the easier it gets. So training, consistency, repeatability.
But like the versatility of like getting behind the ball, going around the ball, stuff like that have to come from like, I think, experimentation. But that's why the coaching comes in. So like because we have the experience, then we give, okay, what if you try this, because I've tried it before. Then they'll be like, try already. Oh, okay, it works. So it like cut
Yeah.
shorts the time for them to like go through trial and error, because it took us
True.
it took us like years of trial and error to like find out some things. Then we can like instantly just tell you, okay, just try this. I've tried this before. Then you see whether it works for you. Then okay, it works. So you can start fast forward their learning process.
That's true. And that's something very important to all the kids nowadays. And not just like checking out YouTube and then like you get students coming to you like, hey coach, I saw this guy, this PBA bowler doing this. I want to do this. But the thing is that they don't even know, I don't understand how that happened and why is the person moving like that.
Mm, mm.
And so like we had a simple discussion the other day that about Jacob Buttroff.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, being double jointed. So he's able to cup the ball in that particular angle and to release it off still and generate so much ref. But he has explained it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
So
if people are really interested, they can check that out.
correct. So surprisingly, not a lot of people come to me asking about Jacob Buttroff, because I think they all know Jacob Buttroff is double jointed. So they all know
Yeah.
that it is almost impossible to get his style, like to get as under the ball as him. I studied his style, and Jacob Buttroff actually I studied his style in the like when Team USA Bowl in the 2021, the what is it the World Cup,
The World Champ, Dubai,
our
that one.
IBF World Championship, yeah, the Dubai the one. So Jacob Buttroff
Yeah,
was one of the members there.
yeah.
Then I was like putting up like screenshots, taking screenshots and then submitting to Instagram, all that. So when I was like studying Jacob Buttroff, is like I saw like he literally his hand goes under the ball like a two-hander. So because
Yeah.
he's double jointed, so he can go totally under the ball just like us without the thumb. But he does it with his thumb in. Then his thumb is like, I think it's like somewhere far away lah, because of his double jointed style. So that was
Yeah.
then I realized, oh, so that's how Jacob Buttroff gets that insane ref rate. So his ref rate actually comes from him getting as under the ball as a two-hander. So he has the same ref rate. Technically, he has the same ref rate as a two-hander.
All of us, we with the thumb here, we can't put it in. We can't cup it that way.
Yep.
We can't cup it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
but yeah, you can cup it like that. Correct. He literally gets like you see his slow motion at the release, right? During when his downswing, when he comes into the release point, his hand is under the ball, just like a two-hander.
Yeah.
Like we go under the ball at release, so it's like insane. It's like wow, one-hander with a thumb in can do this. So that's how he get the ref rate. He basically
But
has
you
this. Yeah,
get,
yeah, it's basically he gets the same ref rate as a thumbless one-handed bowler, but he has the benefit of the thumb in, so he has better control than a thumbless one-handed bowler. Because I think the like the thumbless one handed bowler, what's the guy, what's the PBA bowler's
Daughtry.
name? Tom Daughtry. Yeah, I mean he gets a ref rate, but he will not get the control of a one-handed bowler with the thumb in, because it's just physically impossible. You don't have the thumb in. He can only go one direction, which is like back and forward. You can only send the ball forward. Even for two-handers, we get a little bit more control because we have the offhand, so we can like hold the ball in certain position. Then the offhand stables it, so we get a little bit more control there. But still, we cannot get the same level of control as a one-hander with a thumb in. Okay, so I paused the recording for a short while. Resume. Yeah, so as mentioned, the Zoom actually cut out. So yeah, you
Yeah.
cannot ignore.
Yeah, lor. But then from here we can diverse back into the like some of the more recent bowling balls. Then after that, it will just be about 1 hour already.
Yeah, sure. Recent bowling balls, but actually I'm not very up to date with bowling balls, because yeah, I've always tried to bowl on a low budget, so I've never been like somebody that buys new balls. I always buy used
Okay.
balls and stuff like that, because I just don't want to spend so much money in bowling. I don't have that much
Ah.
money to spend. So even like getting enough money for training, sometimes it's an issue for me. Yeah. So that's why I haven't bowled often for the last year or so. Yeah, all due to financial issues.
Anyway, this Monday, I gotten a pair of lanes at Pongo. If you're interested, 11 a.m. Not sure if you want, but it's the time
Monday
open oiling.
I've coaching actually. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Can I
But
just yeah, I'll check out with you.
okay.
Yeah, you saying so bowling balls? Anything update?
We can have a simple chit chat of that also if you're interested lah. Like because new bowling balls and stuff like that, people are always interested to hear about.
Yeah, yeah, it drives the industry, but because I mean, if there's nobody buying bowling balls, the companies will die. Bowling will die also,
Yeah.
because
So
the
every day I have my students coming up to me, Coach, I'm thinking of getting this ball. What do you think? I'm getting of getting that ball. What do you think? And then like yeah, so we can think about it though. Like we can have a simple chit chat over there.
yeah, sure, go ahead. I mean, I don't know about any of the new bowling balls, so you can just go ahead. I can Google. You can give a suggestion, then I Google it, then I check it out. Oh, looks
You
interesting.
can just jump to the Storm website,
Storm bowling,
stormbowling.com. You get
storm
all the other balls.
storm bowling.
Yeah.
Can share screen.
Oh yeah, you can do yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, the benefits of Zoom is that you can share screen.
Yeah.
Storm bowl. This one? Looks different from what I'm used to. But it's correct. It's their former website.
So, okay.
Da, 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 da. Oh, 900
Diablo
global.
Immortal Chat.
900 global.
Yeah.
You're talking about this, right? The Green Dark Moss.
Yeah.
Sorry? Storm balls. Okay.
Okay. So I send you Storm 900 and
Mm-hmm.
Roto. Yeah. The three links.
Storm. Roto. Okay, wait. Roto one.
Yeah. So over there will be able to see all the X3, Gem, Cosmos, blah blah blah, all those balls. But anyway, the recording is it back on? No, right?
I'm already recording. I was recording since we started.
You got back. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I don't know, get a lot of people coming to me these days asking about balls because ever
Mm-hmm.
since I hop on that like my Instagram page and then talking about balls or sharing a lot more photos and videos of testing the balls. Then wow, now but it's good. I like it. People are asking coming to me for advice,
What ball to
what should I be
choose? What do
using?
you think about
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking like, between X1 and X2, what is the difference? X2 versus X3 for in the Roto Grip series.
There's X1, man.
There's also the
I only
X1.
see X2 and X3. X1 is retired, is it? That's why they don't show it here.
Yes. But in the
Uh,
website here you can still see it. X1, RST X1. And then if you check out like they have the discontinued category, you can just click on that on
this
the top left corner.
continued top left.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
yeah. Once you click on that, you'll be able to see all the other balls. This is in the Roto Grip balls. So like being a
Oh.
ball geek, I got so many from the top. I like dabbling around the X3. I haven't drew it yet. I have my
Mm,
Gem. I got the Idol Cosmos, the top three in the
mm,
list there.
mm.
Then Helios, I have people using it. I threw a couple of shots on it. UC3, X2, UC2, and all that stuff. It's amazing, really amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And even our most recent the in the nationals, the graded champion, he won with the MVP.
Hmm? Which one? MVP?
Yeah, also in Roto. It should be a
Hmm.
Pearl,
Not
MVP Pearl.
here. MVP per
Yeah, so just a little bit below, lower than that. Yeah, just a little bit
lower.
more further down.
Don't have leh.
There's more.
Got view more.
Yeah, it's good for light to medium
Oh,
oil
this
conditions.
one.
For
Oh, this
yeah,
is a bit of an older ball, right? I
yeah,
remember this brand before, leh. I mean the MVP
yeah.
ball. It's
So
quite old, a
there's the
few
MVP
years old.
attitude. Yeah.
MVP
Mm.
attitude.
So this is a very good ball
This one.
that goes
MVP.
long and react. Yeah.
Oh, but why you like Roto so much? I mean,
No, 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 no.
from what my friends tell me before is that Roto is a bit stronger on their cover stock.
Eh, I would say that the thing is, I'm not exactly a big fan, but I follow them because I have seen quite good results and consistent results from their symmetrical ball.
The Idol is quite a famous one because I've seen like
Yeah,
I think in the PBA there was a period of time when the Idol was dominating. I think like
yeah.
Anthony
Well, I don't.
Simonson, all the Storm staffers and the Roto Grip staffers
Mm,
especially they use idols to win quite a few
yes.
tournaments during when the
Yeah.
idol was popular. But after that, they like when they move on to the idol pro, I think it wasn't as it didn't win as much tournaments as the idol,
Yes.
and then gradually the staffers like moved on because they also moved on to different balls also.
Yeah. So then they came their X3 the RST
Hmm.
series was pretty good also.
Hmm.
So these two series are the ones that sort of I think like it's like the iconic ones. The Idol series, the RST series, the Cell series, and the I would say the Hustle series. The
Yeah,
Hype
has a
series
series
is
definitely.
still growing though, I guess. The Hype series is the hype balls are good, but it is still growing because I would say Hustle balls in the Roto Grip side is under HP1,
HP
but
one is their
the
cover stock, is it
yeah,
or what?
so the performance wise,
That is one.
HP1 is
Oh, okay.
the lower, is one of the lower ones. Then comes HP2,
Hmm.
then HP3, then HP4. HP4 will be
Okay.
like the
Top
Jam,
performance.
RXT X3 and stuff.
I see, I see. So
Yeah.
they label by the HP number to like
Yes.
sort of let the customer get a
Yep.
general
Yes.
guide on like if you're to build an arsenal, then you want a HP1, HP2, HP3, and HP4. Then you have four
Yeah.
balls in the arsenal, something like that.
Yeah. So a range. So it's like
Hmm.
Storm where they have like the Premier brand,
Oh yeah,
then
that's
the
true.
Master brand, the Thunder brand, all those, or even the Ice
Ah.
brand. Yeah. So
Oh yeah,
Ice
that's
is
true. That's true.
their spare ball brands. The Thunder series is
Ah.
the weaker ones, I guess.
Mm.
At the mid level, and then the Master series are like the Phase Two IQ tours and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Storm labels it
The
a little bit differently lah. I think their premier is the most expensive
Premier,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
All the
Then
Physic brand Novas and stuff like that.
but it's like if you look at the Master series, it's not. Yeah, I mean the Master series are mostly symmetrical balls also because Phase three is
Phase
ASIM,
two,
right?
phase three, Night Road, High IQ
I
Tour,
think Phase two
High
is
Road.
SIM, but Phase three is ASIM, right?
Sim no
SIM
no
also.
phase phase all phase balls are symmetrical.
Oh, so SIM. Yeah, so I think that Master
Yeah.
balls are SIM balls. Thunder
Mm,
balls definitely SIM balls. High Road, all that SIM balls.
yeah,
Then yeah, so the Peach series also under the Thunder range. So yeah, so
yeah,
definitely they have their own range. Like you mentioned, they will start the top end will be the Premier, followed
yeah.
by the Master and the Thunder. I think the Master and Thunder, like in terms of performance, they blend together.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's like a step up, step down.
step one, step down is like quite similar, but the lowest end will be obviously the Ice is a spare ball, and then
Yes.
the Tropical will be their lowest end, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like the in 900 global series is also the same. So the word
Hmm.
900, that means that is their
900.
highest level one. So 900 global. So
Oh, I see, I see.
900, then we have the 800 series. Then the Wolverine falls at the 700 series. So like
Oh,
all the reality series is the
uh-huh.
900, the higher levels.
Ah,
Zens are the 800s.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. That is quite a
But
good,
600.
yeah, that's quite a good guide lah
Easy way
for the
to
customer.
identify.
Yeah, for the customer to easily know
Yeah.
like what, for example, they want to like replace their highest end ball, then they should buy from the 900 series and so on.
Yeah. And
That's
I
a
actually
good guide.
I also usually ask them, question them back, like
Hmm.
so sometimes they say, "Oh, I want to retire my, for example, my alter reality."
Okay.
Then they'll ask me, "Hey, what ball should I get?" but I always ask them the same question. What do you like the most about your alter reality? Are you looking to get a ball that provides the similar shape
Yeah,
down the
correct.
lane?
Yes.
Yeah. And then, like, have you been using a solid? Have you been using a hybrid? So have
Hmm.
you tried out other surfaces, whether it affects you a lot or not? So got them to answer and reflect upon themselves, and then from there it will be like, very easy to narrow down. Maybe, oh, okay, you might want to you might not need a 900 series ball. That is, it might be too strong, but a lot of you would see a lot of bowlers actually going for very, very strong balls,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess
That's a trap,
they
I guess.
don't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't
Because
understand. Hmm.
Yeah, then they just end up spending $400 on a ball. But sorry to the pro shops, but then again, sometimes some of other, the pro shop owners, they just need to clear their stock. Then they'll just, oh, okay, you got no ref, all right, you need a ball like this, a strong ball to carry this and that for
Yeah,
you.
true.
Yeah, but then
Which
because early,
technically, the pro
yeah,
shop owner
it's not
isn't
wrong, it's not
wrong.
wrong.
It's not wrong
Yeah.
because it makes sense, right? Like if it doesn't make
Mm.
sense, the customer wouldn't be buying it also because they've been using strong balls all the time. Then yeah, lah, then you want to replace a strong ball with another strong ball. What? Yes, it makes sense
Yes.
because the pro shop owner also honestly they won't know the details of the ball motion.
Yeah.
They don't
But
throw the ball down
yeah,
the lane. What? So how would they
yeah,
if they don't throw the ball? How would they know what's the ball motion? They just drill the
yeah,
ball. What? They only know the
yeah.
specs.
But I remember there was a period of time where it's well before COVID, and when you go buy the bowling balls from the pro shops, right? And so they will always ask, oh, hi, are you having private trainings or school trainings and stuff? And when you say no, and they will say, oh, okay, if you need, I have some coaches, and you you will get, like the pro shops, they will refer some of the students to you.
Mm, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
then nowadays it's not really happening much anymore because there's so many academies and they're all readily available.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
But then, like, so I would always recommend to people, like, know what you're throwing first. If you are ready to buy a really expensive ball, you know before you invest $400 in it, maybe you want to opt for like a hype pearl, for example, a hype ball, or even a tropical surge.
How about we talk a bit more about like the motion and stuff like that? Because I think most of the
Yeah.
audience doesn't know what you're talking about. Like because
Yeah.
okay, so let's say let's go for a simple one. So like on my screen now we have the MVP Pearl, right? Which is
Mm.
let's see the range MVP Pearl
MVP Pearl.
range MVP.
HP2.
Okay, it's HP2. Obviously,
Yeah.
is Pearl, is reactive,
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
the MVP core, which I never threw before, so I'm not too sure. MVP, is it a SIM or ASIM? Does it say here? No, it doesn't say on their website, which I don't like.
MVP. MVP is a
Yeah,
symmetrical ball.
SIM. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe we try and break it down. Okay,
Yeah.
first and foremost, like for the average listener, right, listening to this, a SIM ball generally means that it goes further. So because the typical hook bowler, the typical bowler who throws a hook shot always thinks about whether the ball hook more or hook less. Because if you're standing on the foul line, all you see is whether the ball hook more or less, right? Like whether it turns more or turns less, right? So they can't really like tell the difference between earlier and later. But maybe I can have like let me show a lane on the like lane picture of bowling lane. Okay, I Google.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
because this is where I find that this the online medium is actually quite useful because we can use pictures. Let's use this one is not
Very
bad.
simple. And
Let's use
so
this one.
because, yeah, while
Yeah.
you're finding that, like, for the easiest way to think about symmetrical versus asim is that symmetrical ball has a smoother controllable motion down the lane,
Hmm.
while the asymmetrical balls are more defined, more angular. So
More.
they respond to the friction a lot sharper, a lot quicker.
Yes,
So
a lot
if you think
sharper,
about
a
that,
lot quicker. Correct. Correct.
yeah. So
Yes.
that is the key difference between a asim and a symmetrical ball.
So usually, like in my experience, like a sim ball might travel something like this. I mean, obviously the first part is skids, right? But towards the last part, it will generally be a little bit more arcing. You will see your ball
Rounder,
motion
uh,
more
rounder.
rounded, more arcing. So
Yeah.
it's like the line in blue. But if I were to draw like an asim, which generally people play a little bit deeper, just because it actually rolls kind of a little bit slightly earlier. Like I would say the asim goes and it starts to
No,
react.
earlier is from the cover stock.
Okay, true, the
Yeah.
cover stock
Uh,
comes in
yeah.
effect. So if you're using a more solid cover stock. But I find that the
Mm.
asim will try to pick up, will go into a row earlier
Yes.
than the sim because it's just the
Yeah.
nature of the core design. The
Yeah.
imbalance of the asim is designed to stabilize faster.
The,
So it
the, 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 the imbalance part, so the asymmetrical ball is trying to, it will always want to go back to the original balance. So
correct,
how
correct.
you lay out the ball will create the imbalance and hold it longer on the oil surface. And once it goes beyond that, it hits the friction, it will stabilize itself into that stuff and then go into the break
Yes.
point and hook up very
So
fast.
so if I boil it down, both symmetrical and asim, right? Yes,
Mm.
both whether it's symmetrical or asim will try to find the balance earlier. That means you try
Yeah.
to stabilize it earlier. But then asim will stabilize faster. Because I think this is a fixed point, right? It's like asim is
Asim
designed
stabilize, no,
to
no, no.
stabilize
So
faster.
yeah, that's upside down. Symmetrical will stabilize faster.
Symmetrical stabilize faster.
Because it's already symmetric. The shape is already symmetrical, right?
No, no. This one I will argue with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A symbol should be designed to stabilize faster because it's actually asim. Because a sim is when you roll on the lane,
Mhm.
the like the right side is heavier than the left side. So actually, because of that, it actually stabilizes faster. The symmetrical ball actually, because both sides are equal in weight, so the ball actually rotates and spins slightly further and stabilizes later than the a sim. So yeah, you can see even between us, right? we
Mm.
we can't really tell for sure because we don't know who's right also who's right or wrong. So you see, this is difficult for the average bowler. But
Yeah,
generally, generally speaking, I do agree with you that a symmetrical ball is actually more angular in a way because
yeah,
if you hit, for example, if this is the line, right, and okay, I need to draw the line to the break point.
yeah. The
So
break point there.
let's say the break point is the same, so it goes here. The symmetrical ball, now the reaction will be sharper. So you'll go a little bit more angular and straighter instead of the more rounded motion of the blue line will be the
Yes.
symmetrical ball motion, whereby the red line here will be like the asymmetrical ball motion. So you hit the break point, but you will go in a little bit sharper. So obviously you can increase the time that it rolls. You can make it earlier by having like different cover stocks and all that. So having it hold a bit more. So that is the one where we are talking about whether is it symmetrical or asymmetrical. Then second
Yes.
one we want to talk about the cover stock. So like this ball is a pearlized cover stock. So same when we go back to the lane again, same thing. Pearlized ones just means that it goes longer before it starts to turn. Like
Yes.
simple enough because there's this turn right at the break point. So pearlized one will just go longer. So this ball is both symmetrical and also pearlized. So that means it's
Mm.
designed to go longer, both in core as well as in cover stock.
Yeah.
But the thing also to for like the average bowler is they also need to understand like when it's very pearlized, right, and shiny, actually the ball motion tends to be a little bit sharper than arcing. So like if
Yeah.
they are looking for a ball that has this kind of motion again, which goes down the lane,
Mm.
and then is a lot like
Yeah.
goes down goes wow too thick. Sialah, clear. Maybe this goes down the lane, and then it
Mm.
like this sharp angle in. Then this kind of
Yeah.
I think the MVP is something that
Yeah.
might suit them because it's both symmetrical and shiny and pearlized. But
So
if they're
so
go ahead.
the to put it slightly easier lah. Symmetric. So for people that wants the ball to finish strong in the back end, they will normally go for a asim ball. Those that
Mm,
wants it to be less aggressive but more continuous, they will want to go for a symmetrical ball.
Yes,
And
that's true. Yes.
so that is
A
one of
good,
the easiest
yeah, a
way to
good
identify.
general way to
Yeah.
identify. Yes.
Yeah, because then after that, the so-called the shape of the how the ball goes down the lane, that is mostly defined by the ball layouts. So that one will be for another day, another episode. So,
Yeah,
but
true.
otherwise, when it comes to the layout, sorry, the choice of ball, and also regardless of the what kind of cover stock, pearl solid or hybrid. So that one plays also a part where if the bowler has more roll, more turn, plays in a high friction alley, this and that. So and whether they are a one bowling alley bowler or they travel to many, many places, so where they would need a different kind of ball, or are they going to bring one ball to suit multiple lanes? So there's a lot of questions that goes around to ask them, and they can actually reflect on that and help them narrow down what is needed.
Yeah, true, true, true. But to me, like I would rate the ball cover stock a little bit higher than the layout. Lah. That's just my personal opinion as well.
Ah,
Because to me, the cover stock affects the ball motion more than the layout. That's just my personal opinion. Lah. Like having a ball that is laid out to go long, but if I like apply like 320 grit on it, make it super rough, it will still roll early. That's because just of the nature of the cover stock, because of the friction of the cover stock. So
yeah, the
yeah,
added is the added friction, the changes to it lah.
yeah,
So, but if you look at the pure one, so that means like when it's just fresh from box of 300 of whichever solid hybrid or pearl, if you compare, for example, the same ball with these three different covers, the surfaces, you will get three different results.
yeah. So I mean, in
Yeah.
I think there's no summary for this because at the end of the day,
Mm.
when it comes to ball choices, right, it is
Yeah.
complicated. Because even for us,
Yeah.
the two of us who so-called the experts who've been bowling for more than 20, 30 years, we
Yeah.
still like will have disagreements, we still will like be confused
Mm.
about stats and all that because they're just but that's the I think that's the fun part about bowling ball and the
Yeah.
where it separates a winner and a non-winner, so to say. Because when it comes down to a tournament, right, like in a tournament, just getting that few more strikes to qualify for the
Mm.
Masters, and then getting that few more strikes to win a step ladder, it actually
Yeah.
boils down to ball choice also. Because
Yeah.
the right choice of ball will give you more allowance and really does give you that few more strikes. So
Yeah.
it's not easy because if it's easy, then everybody will be winning all the time. This is why
Yeah.
there are like ball reps. Yeah, there will be like ball
Yeah.
reps behind a pro because the pro can have one opinion, but because the ball rep is like the coach, they're standing behind, then they see a different thing, and the ball rep can pay attention to what is happening on the next few pair of lanes, just like what a coach can do. Like, okay, the
Yeah.
Belmo is bowling now on lane 19. What is he gonna? What ball is he using? What surface is he using? What is he gonna do to the lane? Then now you're gonna bowl into transition into Belmo's lane. So what should you be preparing for? Or like maybe
Yeah.
Jacob Butroff was bowling deep inside on the left hand line, obviously he's using purple
Mm.
hammer, using what's his surface grid, then okay, so you're gonna you're a right-hander, but okay, if you're a right-hander, maybe Jacob Butler line don't affect, but if you're a left-hander, then you're gonna be traveling to Jacob Butler's lane, then
Yeah.
what do you need to be prepared for? So these are things that are very complicated with the ball reps and the pros they have to figure out.
Yeah.
So so at the end of the day, yeah, bowling choice complicated, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah. The beauty of the sport
That's the
is
beauty of the sport.
the
Yeah.
consistency of inconsistencies.
Yeah, yeah. That's one
Yeah.
of the things in bowling that will like never change. It's like there are so many balls, but there are so many balls for a reason, right? Because you it's good to have a choice because it like suits so many different conditions, suits so many different bowlers, different parts of the world, like even different temperatures, right? You want to have like a
Yeah.
different bowling ball because the ball reacts differently when it's colder but compared to when it's warmer. The oil flows differently. So there are so many variables.
True. I agree on that. That's very key defining thing because
Yeah.
like I think everyone or most of us that are competing, we would have experienced the part where you bowling at the the lanes nearer to the entrance of the door. versus bowling right at the innermost part of
Mm.
the alley. You get two different kind of lane conditions.
Yeah, yeah,
And
different
then
different reaction.
those yeah. And even those lanes that is right in front of the counter staffs where they always put on all the public bowlers, anyone in, right, the first groups, they always go to the middle lanes. And you can see the how all three parts of the bowling alleys, the lanes react differently.
Yeah, and your camera is off, by the way. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I don't know why it suddenly switched off.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe
Yeah.
I clicked it or something. Yeah.
No, I
So
got
yeah, yeah,
camera
I
shy.
agree, I agree. So that one is just based on like the temperature. I think the dust. I think if it's closer to the door, a few variables. One is the higher temperature coming in from the door, because
Yeah.
it's not as aircon. So higher temperature means the oil will flow more. So I think that if the oil flows more, I think that might cause the transition to be faster. If I'm not wrong, that
So,
means the
oh,
oil dries up
that is
faster.
another interesting category. Yeah,
Yeah,
an
but
interesting topic.
but there's also like dust coming in from the door. So the
Yeah,
dust obviously will add friction onto the lane. So if it's closer to the door, it hooks a bit more. That makes sense. Then like
yeah,
things like earlier you mentioned, if it's right in front of the counter, the
yeah,
lanes are more beaten up because just
yeah.
because the counter
Most
staff
public
was,
users.
yeah, especially when there's very little bowlers, they want to keep the bowlers right in front of them so that if the bowler got any issue of they like want to like
Yeah,
play punk and destroy the equipment everything, then it's easier for the staff to monitor. So the
yeah,
more used up lanes, the more worn out lanes are the ones that are right in front of the bowling alley.
yeah,
But also surprisingly,
yeah.
those lanes usually score higher for hook bowlers because I think they really beat down and like define a track. So a lot, even my league friends, one of my league friend has mentioned that his highest scoring games have always been the ones that are right in front of the counter. That's because he just finds it easier for the ball to hook and react. So like the line, like where he needs to throw and where he expects the ball to hook is actually more defined. Which also makes sense because if more hook bowlers are bowling the same like 10-10 line, right, and they hit the same break point, the break point just has more wear and tear, more friction. So if you send your ball
It gets
there,
more seasoned. Yeah, it gets
sorry,
more seasoned.
yeah, you get so-called more season now, which I mean more friction, more wear and tear on the break point. So if I send my ball there again, it will pick up earlier lor, because
Yeah,
once it hit there, it's like, oh, this is a high friction area. There's a lot of nicks, grooves. It's no longer as smooth. Then it hooks more. So
yeah,
my so-called my hook spot is more defined. So easier for the
yes,
bowler. I shift in. I'm not worried that the ball won't hook. I just send the ball there, and I'm very confident that the ball will hook on that kind of lane.
yeah,
So many variables. I also
yeah, yeah,
remember for
definitely.
like Mount Faber Super Bowl, where I bowl the NUSS series fun bowls every month. My friend has noticed that like because Mount Faber has lane 1 to lane 32, right? Like the middle lanes are always the best to bowl in a way. Obviously, as we mentioned, because it's nearer to the counter. The counter is right in the middle, in between like lanes, in the range of between lanes 15 to like lane maybe 25, lane 22, that is in the middle. But like those less than 15 seems to actually be longer. The ball, right, will hook
Mm.
less on the lanes from 1 to 15. And then surprisingly, from like lane 22 to lane 32, usually those lanes hook more.
More.
So yeah, it hooks more, like it hooks easier. So I think that one I cannot really explain it other than maybe the topography. Uh,
Yeah,
Again, it has the 10 minutes pop up again. So like maybe the
yeah,
topography, like maybe just the lane tilt, like maybe on the side that hook more, the floor is tilted a bit towards the left, I guess. So that's why the ball hooks more. So other than that, I got no way to explain it.
true. Yeah, so like for Mount Faber will be a pretty interesting one because they have two doors. So like when you step in,
True,
and
true,
then there is another door that goes behind it. So in a
true.
sense where the front 10, 15 lanes might benefit from that and not get too much of the outside ones, the air. And plus because the alley itself, as in the entrance is already in an indoor place.
Yeah.
So it's not as damaging as like the, for example, lanes at Portable, because it's an
Yeah,
outdoor.
yeah, correct.
When you
Yeah.
open the door, you can feel the hot air surge in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think
yeah,
for Mount Faber Super Bowl, yeah, like you mentioned, the first few alleys, because it's from 1 to 10, that's right beside
mm,
the front door, it doesn't get much affected because those lanes
yeah,
actually feel longer.
yeah, yeah. So
So it goes a
that's
bit long.
one certain things, and then I think it will be good for bowlers that to go and try out different alleys and at the same time different lanes of the place, because they can really understand what they are bowling on and what they are bowling against. Yeah, it's not just the opponents, but the lanes too. Even new
Mm-hmm.
pins versus old pins, it reacts differently. So yeah, hopefully they learn something from us today also.
Yeah, lor. So I mean that one is like a whole can be a podcast on
Yeah,
itself. People can spend
yeah,
hours talking about like
yeah. I just had
lanes
a
and
talk
so on.
with yeah, I just had a discussion with my friend on lane viscosity, the viscosity of the oil.
Yeah, yeah.
That one that we had like hour plus chat, hour plus long chat, man. And it
Yeah.
was just on like three type of basic of common lane conditioners in Singapore. And wow, it was
Fire.
really a
So
long,
fire,
long chat.
ice, and which one?
Infinity,
Oh, there's another one called Infinity. Oh, is
yeah.
that by
That's
Brunswick instead of Kegel?
yeah. So there's a
Oh,
lot of lane conditioners.
mm, yeah, it can be a whole separate podcast by itself talking about viscosity. Because my understanding of viscosity, I think we touched a little bit about it last session or maybe during our private chats was that because it's more viscous, so it doesn't flow into the gaps as much. So like the whatever, let's
Mm.
say I have a dry spot, this groove that
Yeah.
I bowl, then this groove will stay there longer because fire is actually more viscous than ice. But
So
in terms of ice,
fire and ice actually these two oil are on a higher viscosity level. Then for the infinity oil is on a lower one. I think it's like 36 or 39. The centipoise, their ratios lah. Then for fire and ice is at the 50 plus 60 range. So it's on a higher
yeah, so
viscosity.
it's like half
So,
almost half.
yeah. So the lower viscosity ones is good for high friction lanes and you want the ball not to over too much.
Correct.
But still, because of our new balls these days, the it's just overrides all sorts of stuff and just punches down the lane.
Yeah, it's true. Because my understanding of viscosity, if I were to like draw on screen, but you won't be able to see, it's like if I mean I just show like if there's a groove here that your bowling ball drives through, but because it's less viscous, then the oil will like flow and cover up. So
Yeah,
you will not feel the transition as much. Like you won't feel like oh suddenly my ball hooked a lot because you will still be oil flowing in and filling up that gap so to say for the less viscous
yeah,
oil. So like you mentioned, if the lane is higher friction, then we keep like drawing lines, right? Because of the ball, like it draws a groove, but the oil keeps filling it up. So you will still
yeah.
feel like there's still oil there, so you can still continue playing that line a bit longer.
True.
Okay. So maybe you want to like wrap up anything you want to talk about to wrap up the session?
No, I'm good. I really think that you know yeah. So people, bowlers, everyone, they would really want to go and try out and so they can really go to different bowling alleys. They can check. They can even ask the counter staff, hey, what kind of oil are you guys using?
True.
Is it the fire, the ice, the infinity, or any other kind of oil? You know, and understand about what oil pattern they are on. How many feet. So then, because sometimes they just blame the ball, like, oh, okay, I brought for example a Nova or proton physics, and then they go down to the place and then the ball is not hooking at all. So first thing first, they have to see, even you know like as simple as, has the lane been bowled like countless times, and then, or has there been any carry down, is it a fresh lane, before they start to jump into other conclusions, or even they themselves are not releasing properly. Then
Yeah,
from
true.
there comes the ball choice, whether that ball, the surface, like you mentioned just now, if you need the ball to roll up even more, you can even hit it with some Abralon pads. Or if the ball is too shiny and it's just skidding down the lane, yeah, hit it with some surface and then let it react. So, yeah, as they start to like understand more, even back then, when I was bowling spinner, I bring abalone pads.
Yeah, yeah,
Some
I
days when
agree, I
it's
agree.
way too, I
I
still
agree.
remember.
Ebron test is a
Yeah,
must, man. And we use the roughest one. I use like
yeah,
the lowest grip allowable, which is like I had like 500, 320 all that in my bag.
360, 360.
360, yeah, 320. I
Yeah,
forgot what's the lowest allowable.
and 160, 160, three to any.
Yeah,
Yeah, so 500s. Yeah, we had all of that
yeah,
carrying around. Yeah, so understand the oil, understand how more surface can affect your bowling ball, and then we're gonna have a very very good game, and then yeah, you will be able to play bowling for a very long time from a young boy all the way until an old man.
yeah. There's a ton of knowledge. Like we've been playing for so many years, and yet there's still so much
Yeah,
we don't know.
yeah,
So
yep,
that's where I
yep.
find it's fun. Okay,
Yeah, man.
yeah, can. So we'll
Yeah,
just wrap up today's podcast here. And thank you
yeah.
guys for listening and watching. And we will see you guys next one. All right,
Yep.
bye. See ya.